Saturday Catterday with a beautiful big male lion. This is Safari Live. Well, it looks to be Mfumo, the authority, one of the Birmingham boys. Looks like that wound on his face has opened up a little bit again. Has he been scrapping with the ladies? Or is he going to roar? Giving low contact calls. So to stick with him. So this magnificent big male lion walking next to us. And my name is Brent. I've got Rian on camera, and that is Mfumo, the authority. And shake your head, big boy. So what a way to start the weekend. Saturday, Catterday, off to a bang with a Birmingham boy. Remember the hashtag Safari Live on Twitter or questions at WildEarthTV if you'd like to send us any questions. Now he is moving to the north. I'm hoping he doesn't keep it up at this speed, because before the first half hour of show's up, he'll be away and gone to the north. Or he could turn to the east or west, is what we're hoping. A little sniff sniff and a scent mark. And he's giving me some good reversing practicing, and I was a bit my reversing left a little bit to be desired as I woke up this morning and left the carports. So obviously the lions knew I needed some practice. Now, Charlie says, Brent, this doesn't look like the same injury. It's too high up and it's swollen. Charlie, I think it's to do with the same injury. I think he might have got a few more maggots in it. And as you can see, that swelling under his eye. Now, one must remember that male lions are constantly full of nicks, scratches, holes and bite marks. It doesn't really affect them too much, but we will be able to see there if that swells up again and all the maggots cascade out again. You can definitely see the swelling there. Hey, big boy. Always in the wars. You can see almost every bush or whatnot that he comes across so far on this walk of his is scent marking, except that one, because I tried to predict he was going to do it, so he decided to completely ignore me. Now, Mr. Authority, you are about to be snorted at. Something fierce. There's some impala behind me who've spotted him from a mile off. And there's one impala there. I can't see if there are any others. You can see that stance. And 3, 2. Come on. Where's your snort? It's coming. Okay, don't snort. There we go. Now, a single impala is a bit of a stretch for a single male lion. Probably a bit too quick, and without other members of the pride to coordinate the hunt, quite difficult. So So generally when male lions are away from the females on their patrols, as this gentleman is at the moment, if they do hunt, it's generally larger stuff. Looking at buffalo or hippo or giraffe. It's another favorite. Morning, Marianne. Marianne would like to know, is Mfumo fully grown? How big is he? How old? I would say so. He's over 6 years old now, and he's in his prime. He weighs probably just under 400 pounds or around 400 pounds. And he's not the biggest male lion I've seen, but he is a beautiful specimen. He's got that lovely mane that's starting to darken now. And as he gets older, it's going to darken more and more. That is the one place we really don't want him to go. Hopefully he just carries on parallel and doesn't drop down into the little ravine system that's here. He stopped there. I just want to see where he's going. That is not good. I'm not sure if there's a way down into the ravine around here, but we shall try. While we try to figure out where he's going, let's go say good morning to Taylor. Well, we said we were going to come look for the authority. The authority is snoozing very nicely under a little guarri bush. Now, if we have a closer look at his face, I didn't get a good look earlier, but now, if we come straight through, you can have a look. You can see the blower wound, and then that is a new wound that looks to be infected as well. I wonder if there's a connection to the old wound. I'm not sure. Probably not, though. So I was incorrect earlier this morning. This is how I've had a proper good look at it. I actually think best access is probably going to be from the middle of Hyena Road, and I'll guide you in. You should see some off-road tracks heading to the west. Okay, sorry about that. Someone's trying to find us. We are deep in the bush, far from roads, with Mr. Mfumo. And I heard him calling last night, through the night, but he's been quite quiet this morning. He hasn't given us a throaty roar. And of course, I'm not sure where the other members of the coalition are. They could be spread out all over the place. There's a tired kitty. Hello, Leopold. Now, Leopold's wondering who is the most dominant coalition in the Kruger Park at the moment. Wow, I'm not 100% sure. Kruger Park is 8.5 million acres, or the Greater Kruger, but there will be many dominant coalitions of lions, just depending on whereabouts you are exactly. So, northern Sabi Sands, the Birmingham boys are dominant over most of it, and into the Kruger Park. Then in the western Sabi Sands, it's the Majinga lions. I think then in the southeastern Sabi Sands, it's the Sand River males. And then there's obviously multiple coalitions throughout the Kruger. But for us, our most dominant coalition is definitely the Birmingham boys. Oh, and just to the north, the Salati males. Now there's a report of Skybed males, another big coalition coming down from the Timbavati. Avoca males is another coalition that might move into this area when they're a bit older, but they will have to contend with the authority. and his brethren, if they do come down this far. That massive, massive forepaw, about the size of a side plate. Oh, you can see all the biting flies hanging about, even in this cool weather, buzzing around him. It's wonderful to spend time with any of the big cats, even when they are having a snooze. Remember, hashtag Safari Live or questions at WildEarthTV if you've got any questions. Now, if there's anyone new, this is a Birmingham male lion. He's part of a coalition of 4 that control the northeastern side of the Sabi Sands, and they are currently the lords over 3 different prides of lions: the Styx, the Nkahumas, and the Torchwood Pride. They come from a farm called Birmingham in the Timbavati Game Reserve. That's where they get their name from. Now, Paul's asking, do we ever see white lions? Now, Paul, there is a possibility that these male lions might carry the white lion gene. The Timbavati Game Reserve is very famous for its white lions. It's one of the few places where that does have that genetic, that recessive genetic. But for that to actually come through, you have to have both the male and female carrying that recessive gene to cause a double recessive to actually have white lions. So it seems to happen far more often in the Timbavati. In this area, not so much. I don't know. I've never heard of a white lion ever in the Sabi Sands, but in the Timbavati and in the Kruger around Singita Lebombo, there have been white lions in recent years, but I've never heard of one in the Sabi Sand. He looks like he's got his cat a day planned out. He's going to snooze under the bushes here. I'm pretty sure we're going to find him in the exact same position on the sunset safari. Now, in certain parts of Africa, lions are very much under threat. We're quite lucky in this area that they're not. MS Sky is wondering what the population of lions in the Kruger is. It's very difficult to get an exact population, because you remember only about 2% of the Kruger is actually seen by people, and there are vast wilderness areas that the animals never see the people, apart from the odd anti-poaching patrol or scientific survey. I'd guess, and depending on what counts, there's anything from 1,000 to 2,000 lions in the Greater Kruger. That is the estimate, and I know it's quite a wide estimate, but it is very difficult to be specific. As you must remember, a lot of those prides in the very rural areas will be very skittish. They'll run away from cars. They're not used to the vehicles like these lions here. And of course, different areas will have different densities based on the different prey availability. Krista in Oregon is wondering, why do the big cats let us get so close to them? Well, Krista, it's because we pose no threat to them. And these animals have grown up with vehicles. As long as you drive respectfully and carefully and do not push them or try chase them around, they are very, very relaxed. And a vehicle has only been around for 100 years or so, so they do not have an instinctive response to the vehicle. If you were to stand up, on the other hand, would not be a good idea. The lion would recognize the bipedal figure of man, the dominant diurnal predator, and either get aggressive or run away. And a vehicle also smells like diesel or petrol or oil, and so it doesn't really smell like anything edible or any threat. So as long as you keep your distance, or not keep your distance, obviously. Initially keep your distance and drive carefully and respectfully. You can get very close to these incredible animals. Okay, it sounds like someone is trying to get here. I can hear someone crashing through the bush. Now, while the authority sleeps underneath the guarri bush, it seems like Commander Bond has got something that was probably caused by one of this creature's cousins, or if not itself. As you can see, not much movement here on the big cat front. Mr. Mfumo is very much a flat cat. As I say, I don't think he's going to move too much today. I think he's found his spot where he's going to rest up. Now, he's definitely the one we see the most on Djuma. Him and Tinyo, the tooth. Nana and Untsuko, we don't see nearly as often. Oh, there we go. Head up and head down. Oh, that was a very gentle letdown for a lion. They are so good at sleeping, even on a cool day where he could possibly be moving. I think he has moved quite a big distance overnight. Now, a lot of cats have retractable claws, and Corey in Massachusetts was wondering about that, and how does it work? Well, Corey, you are in luck, because I indeed know how it works. Where do the claws go, and what happens? So, fortunately for you, Corey, I have a lovely little diagram. So there we go. So it's basically two little ligaments. And you can see there. So they are named C. And you can see, so there's an extended claw. And there's a retracted claw. So you can see there's that little ligament that's named C. That pulls tight and the claws go in. I mean, sorry, that loosens and the claws go in. And they just slide into a little sheath. And then when that is extended or stretched, the claws come out. And you can see how the bottom shape of the pad changes when it does happen. So there we go. So when the ligament's at rest, the claws are inside. When the ligament is in use and stretched, the claws are outside, or extended rather than stretched. So that's Corey. Hopefully that helps you with how a lion or even your domestic cat at home's claws work. Now, at the moment, Mr. Mfumo's claws will be definitely retracted, so inside. Oh, there's a very noisy African cuckoo calling there. Cuckoo. Now, if we have a look at his nose, there we go. Oh. Sorry, I just got to be on the game drive. My tracks of this animal come from Twin Dams, then to Vuatila, and then northeast from there. So we can see that new wound just below his eye. Can you zoom in on it a little bit more there, please, Rian? You can see the flies already on the wound. There we go. Now that's how the problems start when they lay their eggs. Hi, Lale in Washington. Lale wants to know, will the maggots be good for cleaning up the wound? Oh, it all depends. Sometimes they can be quite bad. They do cause infection depending on the species. But yes, sometimes the maggots can eat away the rotten flesh, which helps with infection. But there are certain maggot species as well that will eat living flesh. And those are the ones that are not so good to have in your face. Or actually any part of your body. Now, it's amazing how these cats can go from almost exactly flat to the ground, and the slightest noise or smell or something that stimulates them can send them leaping into action, and from 0 to 60 in no time. We're going to sit here with Mr. Mfumo. I'm hoping, because of this cool drizzly weather, he might give us a roar. I don't think so, though. It's very much wishful thinking, but it sounds like Taylor has gone. And flat indeed is the cat. Mr. Mfumo has not moved a muscle. He has not even lifted his ears or lifted his head. And it is always wonderful. Oh, there we go. He moved ever so slightly, but it was an inch of movement. Now, I was hoping he might get up, might do something before the end of the safari. It doesn't look like it, but at least we know where he is. I'm just waiting for Mike to get here. I don't think he'll find him without our help, so we're just standing by till he gets a bit closer, and then we'll see if we can find some other fascinating thing before the end of this safari. Now, Majid's wondering, how long can lions survive without water? Majid, they actually are not water dependent. They can survive their whole lives without water as long as they kill enough, and they'll get their moisture from the blood that they consume. But normally, it's much better to drink water, and if water is available, lions will drink. That's a very tired kitty. I can see that wound. It'll be interesting to see if that one is also full of maggots already, or is it just swelling and it'll go down without too much fuss. Oh, sorry. 1 second. Mike. Mike, confirming, have you found those tracks yet? Seems like young Michael is lost. Star Wars says that he's dreaming of herds of wildebeest and lionesses. The lion, of course, not young Michael from Cheetah Plains. And he does look like he might be dreaming a little bit. There we go, a little ear flick. That's to keep the biting flies at bay. But hopefully he'll be up and at him on the